welcoming to the show professional granddad John Cowan. John, kia ora, thank you for your time today.
Kia ora. No, I'm still very much an amateur granddad, still trying to get the hang of it, but I picked up a few tricks from other people.
If it was something that you could get paid to do, though, it's not a bad thing. And honestly, of all of the titles that I hold and hats that I wear, it's probably more hats than titles, actually. Granddad's one of the ones that I'm perhaps the most proud of. I'm still getting used to it, but it's not a bad one, actually.
It's not a bad one.
It's a bad worth earning.
Yeah, I don't know why I enjoy my granddaughter more than I ever enjoy my own children, but there you go.
Because you can give them back. That's a start. Now, I had a total grandfather fail. Was hoping to visit my grandson in Dunedin, got COVID, and decided that that's not really the gift that I want to give to my grandson. So I stayed at home and just talked to him on the phone, which I think, honestly, he enjoyed more because he got to use those little apps and turn me into a bunny rabbit, and hilarity ensued. It was... But
every conversation turns into funny faces, and yeah. And I just wish I knew how to do them, but she manages to stick them all over my face. I think anybody that communicates with little kids these days knows about this idea where you get turned into fish or have moustaches added to your face and things like that. It's remarkable.
It is a bunch of fun, but tips on how to be a modern grandparent, because it is a little bit different than it was perhaps back in the day.
Yeah, do we have any significant value? I mean, I know that perhaps our children do see us as being potentially valuable. I heard about a grandchild that was visiting a grandmother and said, "Grandma, can you make a noise like a frog?" And she goes, "Why?" He says, "Well, Dad says that when you croak, we're going to Disneyland."
Oh, good.
So maybe we're seen as the way of paying off their mortgage when we die. But I hope that we've got some significant value to family life, even as grandparents, even before we cark it. Could I just start off by saying, do everything you can to not transmit the idea that you disapprove of the way your kids are parenting. They will be doing it differently, but odds on they'll be doing it better. I haven't been at the parenting place now for quite a few years, but I was endlessly impressed by how modern parents were doing it better. Research showed that they were spending more time as parents with their kids. You know, my generation were frantically busy and not taking it nearly seriously enough. Modern parents at least take the role seriously. I know you don't have to go far to find dud parents, but most of them are doing really well. They spend more time learning about parenting. They've got how many... I mean, I tried to take parenting seriously, but there weren't any books and there was nothing on the internet. And mind you, they didn't have the internet when I started doing the parenting. But, modern parents have got a ton of information. And also, they've got this fantastic resource called You. If you're a grandparent, you're an incredible resource for a parent to have. But there is a few things that you can help your parents with, and one of them is your kids as they're doing their parenting. And one of them is to help them to relax. If modern parents do have a problem, is that they are getting a bit too neurotic and serious about their parenting. And if we can help them actually to relax and enjoy their children, you're doing them an incredible service. The trick is to be able to do that without giving the idea that you're casual about safety or nutrition or something like this.
Exactly.
We don't want to give the idea that we are so lax and relaxed about parenting that we're going to be a danger to their precious children. So, but the idea is to help your kids enjoy their kids. And, if that is going to make such an incredible difference to the ultimate pleasure of your grandchildren. They love it when they know that the parents enjoy them.
And hey, if they're a little bit less stressed and have got a little bit more sleep and all of those sorts of things, that's another way which grandparents can sometimes step in and say, "Hey, why don't you take a break? Why don't you two go out for a coffee? Or why don't you two go out for a night out? We'll look after the kids." I mean, that can be one of the best gifts that we can give our kids and give our grandkids.
A fantastic gift. And this is where, you get all sorts of different type of grandparents. There are some that are interfering and too close and monitoring things too closely, and others that are so, let's just say, selfish in their lifestyle that they're not getting involved in their kids. But if we can step in occasionally, and also watch when there is stress in the family.
Yeah.
When you can step in, and you can still be incredibly valuable if you detect that your kids are going through employment stress, relationship stress, financial stress, and just to step up and be that backstop. In fact, I think one of the most stress-reducing things in the world is to have a plan B.
Yeah.
I mean, your kids have probably got things like after-school care worked out and everything like this, but just to know that there is a plan B in case things fall apart is incredibly reassuring for them. So just let them know, you won't be doing it every day, but if their regular after-school care falls over, you're there to step up.
Yep.
So just letting them know that you've got their backs and that you can care for them. There is a real, and I would call it a ministry that grandparents can have.
Yep.
And that is if you have to go through the agony of your children's relationship falling apart. And people listening, some of you will have already been through that terrible, distressing thing of your kid's marriage failing. And could I just urge you during that time, if you could make your focus of attention your grandkids.
Yeah.
Your children are now adults and they probably have to sort out their problem in an adult way. But so much of their emotional energy will be involved and wrapped up in their own pain and disputes and things, but they may not have enough emotional energy for their kids. And so could I urge you to step up in your role with your kids your grandkids at that stage, and to reassure them and to assure them of their ongoing security, that they are loved, that they're certainly not to blame for anything that's going on.
Yeah.
And of course, you will have an opinion about the rights and wrongs of what's going on.
Yeah.
You will, of course, have your biases and things. Stitch your mouth closed and sit on your hands. Taking sides could desperately and tragically interfere with your future contact with your grandchildren.
Yeah.
If you side with your child against their partner that they're splitting up with, and that partner gets custody of their kids, there goes your contact with your grandkids. So don't take sides. Focus on the grandchildren. And I think, that could be a very, very valuable thing to do. That's just a few little ideas for grandparents I thought I'd throw out there today.
And I suppose that sense of connection as well, because I think as modern families, and there's perhaps more complexity to how we define family than it was in the traditional nuclear family. But there can be issues of isolation. So much pressure on parents to have the perfect family, to have all these opportunities for their kids, and they kind of circle the wagons and hunker down. I think grandparents can broaden that out a little bit and go, you know what, you're part of a bigger picture. You're part of a broader family tree, perhaps.
Yeah. Families, grandparents can have a wonderful role there in connecting their children and their grandchildren to their cousins, the wider family, and also to the past, to the story of their heritage, their origins, their connections, and kids actually. Hang on, I'll just turn off a bit of noise there. Someone coming in with another call.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're a popular guy, John. I understand. It's probably one of your grandkids wanting to do funny faces.
Could well be. To connect them with that wider story. Yeah.
No, hey, John, we'll let you get on with your busy day. Thanks for your wisdom and advice on how to be a grandparent in the modern age. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Cheers.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.